Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks very much for joining us. We've had a lot going on over the next several days, and it kicks off today with a low to the north. We've got low pressure on the animated wind map today, which you can see in the darker shading here and down in the Southern Ocean, and high pressure seen out here in the Tasman and sort of tracking in across the New Zealand area. It's that high pressure that led to the frost this morning. We've got more big frost coming up this week. In fact, over the next couple of nights, it's potentially going to get down to -12. -6 to -12 through inland and highland parts of the South Island. So that's pretty cold stuff at the moment, locking in that cold change that actually arrived at the end of last week. And speaking of that cold change last week, we normally imagine these lows pulling down all this subtropical air, and while there is some, it's actually only coming into sort of the Bay of Islands and the very far north. And even then, it's not overly warm because there's a southerly injection that's being mixed into it. Imagine this is the cold water down here, warm water up here, and this is like the hand in the bath trying to mix all the water up. And what it's doing is it's actually scooping up more cold water than warm. So that's why it's feeling a bit colder. I hope you got that analogy. I was talking about the air, not the water. But the southeasterly flow will turn more southerly over the next 12 to 24 hours, and that windy weather pushes through with gale force conditions, mostly between Whangarei and Whangaparaoa tonight. This is 6 o'clock this evening. There is the deepening low. We've got a windy belt of weather anyway, a squash zone between the high pressure out here and this incoming low pressure. But as the low deepens to that 984, 983 hectopascal zone, that is getting deep enough to kind of put the twist on, and it just adds a bit more pressure into this one side here, which is where you're seeing those gale force winds. So they come in between Whangaparaoa and Whangarei, Great Barrier Island overnight tonight, and once you get sort of south of about the Bombay Hills, not much to talk about. And then we get into lunchtime Tuesday, and that storm has gone from north of New Zealand to northeast. It's just off the East Cape. So it'll be very windy on Tuesday around northern Hawke's Bay, Mahia Peninsula, up towards Gisborne, East Cape, and also a big chunk of Bay of Plenty, probably even Coromandel Peninsula still quite windy. Nothing too major. The worst winds will be out on this side where potentially severe gales are possible. Keep up to date with those Met Service warnings. And high pressure is out here locking in that cold. So the South Island's got those big frosts on the way. Now, by the time we get to Wednesday, that system has moved out east of New Zealand, so it's pretty much gone. It's starting to weaken a wee bit. Still got the southerly and a couple of showers just out on that eastern side. Otherwise, not much going on. We've got a bit of a breather. And in fact, the winds start to come back a little bit into the South Island, leading into some wet weather on Thursday for them. But in the North Island, it's more of a, well, I want to say subtropical, but it's really sort of Queensland airflow coming down. So it actually will start to warm up for you as we head in towards the end of the week. Now, by the time we get to Friday, here comes the next system. And this has got severe weather written all over it, at least at this stage. I think this weekend there's a chance for severe gales in both main islands. We're already getting the data alerts from IBM. If you go to ruralweather.co.nz or Weather Watch or our free app, you can see that hourly wind information going right out. And what it's saying is on Friday and Saturday, the squash zone between this high, which is quite a strong one at 1030 hectopascals basically, and all of this low pressure down here is going to make for a very windy nor'wester over New Zealand. And as we go into Saturday, it gets even stronger because there's an area here of deepening low pressure. This may well spark a number of wind warnings and rain warnings, and there's even a chance for some snow warnings if there's a cold southerly getting into the mix as well. So this coming Saturday, a chance for severe weather across both main islands, heavy rain on the west coast, snow in the mountains, severe gales coming through a large portion of New Zealand starting Friday, not easing till Sunday. So typical winter weather, I guess, especially with all these southerlies. There'll be wintry southerlies and snow flurries for the mountains and ranges around Australia. So we're really in the peak part of winter right now, and this Saturday certainly looks a bit interesting. That is all from me. I'll be back again tomorrow with your next update.